That's exactly right. It is going to spread to America from over there. Folks, please be prepared. You definitely need to do everything that you're going to do and do it immediately. I don't know how to say anymore, Alex, except that, yes, what's in the Middle East will spread to America, except in a different form.
All right, let's jam in one more call before this hour ends. We're going to come back. Let's talk to Fred in Ohio. Fred, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. But since we know that we've been double-crossed, and the Arabs know they've been double-crossed, and we've got a $25 million bounty on bin Laden and others, why haven't these dictators and kings and Arabs put bounties on these elitists that have done all of this to us?
Well, because then a military would invade them overnight. The globalists are very aware of that danger of people striking back. That's why when Saddam Hussein, talked about going after George Herbert Walker Bush, you saw what happened. It's because they know the globalists run our country, the nuclear weapons, the assassination teams. I think you answered your own question. And I'm not calling for violence. That's a game the globalists, with all their security and the rest of it, want to play. They want us to get violent, so they have an excuse to crack down. They're spurring the violence in the Middle East. All you guys that call for violence constantly and tell me I'm a wimp because I don't do it, and they always do it with anonymity. I'm not saying Fred's bad. I'm saying people that, Alex, you ought to call for an uprising. You ought to run out and start shooting people, and they're doing it on message boards. And if they're not feds, they should worry, because I've seen folks that aren't feds go to jail for that. I'm here to get the word out. It's my country. I deserve a republic. You deserve it. Our forefathers fought for it, and we need to fight with ideas and physically defend ourselves. We'll be right back. We've got some other huge guests coming up later in the week. Very informative. Just let me give you a hint. You want to stay tuned in this week. This is such an important discussion that we're going to do 30 minutes with Lindsey at the start of the third hour tomorrow, and then take another 30 minutes of calls. He'll be with us for just a few more minutes right now. Then we're going to go back to retransmission, but we are live. Lindsey-Williams will be back live tomorrow in the third hour. And we have some other important guests on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. One of them, a big surprise. I'll just leave it at that, keeping our fingers crossed. But taking a few final calls here. Well, briefly, do you want to comment on the guy who was talking about violence?
Oh, positively. What you're seeing happen right now in Libya, I'm sure you must have heard, even on the national news this morning, from airplanes, they're shooting at civilians. Gaddafi says, I positively will not step down under any circumstances whatsoever. As a result, oil prices went up so much this morning. Libya sells 1.6 million barrels a day, and right now Tripoli is burning. So do you think that they wouldn't... All of this is supported by the elite, what the Muslim-Brotherhood is doing. It'll go from nation to nation, and you'll see civilians spied on. This is an atrocity. It breaks my heart to see that this has to happen in order to bring about the plan of the elite.
Well, we'll talk about solutions, too, tomorrow, and some other areas we didn't have time to get into that are key to this whole discussion. Brian in Utah, you're on the air, Brian.
Alex and Pastor Williams, thank you both for your service, and to your audience. We must make this interview and the related interviews that Pastor Williams has done go viral through the college campuses, the police, our military especially, and our local and state officials.
This was the globalist plan, teamed up with China to bring us down.
Absolutely. And, as you were speaking of as well, we the people of the United States must become peacemakers to the Arabs and to the Muslim people. We have to let the Arabs know that we've also been double-crossed, and our military has been double-crossed by the global parasite empire scams. And, our military has been double-crossed by our treacherous politicians and their generals. Now, you spoke of Henry Kissinger, and I'd heard, I don't know if it was you several years ago or someone had revealed some of this information about Henry Kissinger being responsible for this deal with the Arabs about oil. But there was a little bit more focus on the military-industrial complex aspect of the deal with military bases and things like that.
We'll get more into that tomorrow. In fact, I'll write a note to do that. Lindsey, any comments for Brian in Utah? We only got about a minute left.
And tomorrow, please have your pencils and paper ready, even your recorders. Please turn them on, and you'll want to get... I'm going to give tomorrow the amount of oil that has just been announced to me by one of the elite that is in America which they're going to open up. I'll tell you where the fields are. I want to read you the amount of oil that's there from the latest statistics. Some of it has been put in the congressional record. You can check it out for yourself.
Absolutely. We'll also get into solutions. We'll get into Fromm and his history. We'll also get into that question about the military bases. In 30 seconds, Lindsey, the military base agreements with the Arabs in the 70s.
Our military is in dire straits right now. When this happens, a lack of fuel. Can you imagine how you run an airplane without jet fuel? How do you run a ship without diesel? It's going to be a startling situation that's going to take place. Who knows what they will pull at the same time they bring about this lack of fuel crisis out there. Let me add just one sense of humor, please, and I'll give you a challenge to go do it. There was a bumper sticker the other day. It said, "Pray for Obama." Will you please write down the scripture verse? Just a little humor here. Psalms chapter 109, verse 8. And the bumper sticker said, "Pray for Obama." Psalms 109, verse 8. Just a little humor. But leaving all humor apart.
We're out of time, Lindsey. If folks want to call that number, it's 888-799-6111. We're going to have you back tomorrow, my friend. Let me say bye to you during the break. Key retransmission starts now. Stay with us.